Hi there, Sarah Leigh here doing my Soak for Soul Day 90, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I actually handle my stress, and then I'll be putting it into a blog and uploading it to my website as well, sarahleigh.com.au. So I will try and keep it short, but this one's actually spoken to me a lot today, so I will spend a little bit more time on it. A part of my goals is to inspire healthy living physically and spiritually. And physically doesn't take too much to understand. It's keeping fit and taking care of your body. But spiritually is something altogether different. And I'm a Christian. That's one of the ways that I do it, and I'll talk more about that. But we all have to deal with spiritual health. Spiritual health is who you are, and most of the time it's about stress that are thoughts that are going through our head that make us make decisions. And if we are really stressed, sometimes we can make really silly decisions, and that's something that I'm going to talk about, how I deal with that, and what it means to actually have a healthy spiritual outlook on life. And my soap actually relates to that today. So my soap day 90 scripture is Psalms 119, verse 143. Now it's probably one of the most famous and really, really great chapters of the entire Bible. It's one of my favorites anyway. But this particular verse says, trouble and distress have come upon me, but your commandments give me delight. And so I'm going to go into a bit more detail about that, but I've also got a list of things here that I do to try and help me not have as much stress in my life. And then I'm also going to have my observation around what part God and His commandments play in that. But also I'll go through my goals, because I've actually added to my goals is something that for me was a given. I didn't realize I actually didn't have it written down as one of my core values, and that's to put God first in everything that I do. And it's something that I double check across everything that I do and all the decisions that I make, around my book or around working with the Juice Plus company, or being a mother and all those, and a good wife. All of my goals are really caught around putting God first in my life so that I can have the best life that I can. I see Him as a father, and He wants the best for our lives. He wants us all to be happy and joyful and, to be the best that we can be. And that's why I try and read the Bible every day and listen to His instructions, because it's got some really cool stuff in there that can teach us the best ways to go about things in life. So I've got my instructions here. I'm going to take a picture of this one and upload it to the comments. But I want to read through how I handle stress first, and then I'll go through my observations and my prayers. And the how I handle stress is probably more my actions from this scripture anyway. So the first one is putting God first. So in everything that I do, reading His word, learning from His wisdom, and following His instructions. So it's really important for me that I trust God, I have a relationship with Him, and that's something that I then want to have in my life. I want to know what it is that He's instructing us to do, or instructing me to get to do, because I've tested that theory and I've asked Him for things in the past, and He's always come through for me. There's so many different points in my life where I asked Him for things and it didn't necessarily happen the way I wanted it to, but I've learned that I can trust that if I ask Him for something that He's going to do it. And I challenge you to do the same. If you've never prayed before, or if you don't have a relationship with Him, try it. What's the worst that could happen, right? If there's something that you really want in your life, try just asking for it and just chatting to Him and seeing what happens. Because for me, that's one of the biggest foundations of my faith, is that I've just continued to ask and search and read His word. So the second thing was to work on things that do cause stress. So there's things that are in my brain that, we all have it. I've got a list here. So there's things that cause stress. Might be your health, might be affecting some things in your life, your job, your business, your income essentially, or the financial income so that you can survive and live. That causes everyone stress. Your family might be causing you stress, whether it's extended or your immediate or your new family. Relationships that you have either within your family or with your husband or partner or spouse or whatever it is, and your friendships. So for me, those are the biggest things in my life that cause stress. And so you don't actually have to fix the problems to get rid of, or at least reduce, that stress in your life. What you need to not do is ignore them. If you ignore them and you dig your head in the sand, it's not going to help get any better. One thing that I've realized is that if I just do something that helps with whatever it is I'm stressed about, makes me feel like I'm being proactive and actually can help me in reducing that amount of stress. It may not get rid of the problem, but at least it makes me feel like I've done something about it. And so that's actually one way that I reduce or get rid of my stress levels. So for an example, if I'm worried about my health, if I go to the gym, I feel better and more positive about being at the gym. Now, if I only go once, it's not going to help the problem, but at least for that day, or at least a couple of days, I might feel a bit better about it. If I stop going again, then that stress is going to increase again. So it is something that needs to be consistent, but that you get the point, right? Like that's reducing my stress levels for that point at that time. Same with jobs, business, or income. You know, if there's something that I could do that might generate some income for me, if I've got my business, Juice Plus business, maybe I'll run a training call, or maybe I'll try and connect with some customers or with my team members, or, you know, maybe share it with a few more people today. That might be something I'm stressed about. If I feel like I've done some activity that's actually going to be income generating activity, then it might reduce my levels. I may not actually get a sale, I may not actually make any more money from that, but at least I felt like I've done something. So that's another example. And same with relationships. If you ignore the problems in your relationships, they're only going to get worse. This is probably, for me, really important. If you're married, I see so many marriages get broken up because, or, you know, have so much trouble because they're simply just not communicating, and they're just thinking, I'll just make it through one more day without talking about it. But you know what? If you build up things that you're not talking about and that really get to you, you're going to build up resentment, and if over a long period of time, it can explode, and it's only going to get added to every time they do something little. It's going to add to that big pile of stuff that you're not talking about. So it's really important to be able to talk about it. And if you need to bring in mediation or go to a psychologist or do marriage counselling or whatever it is, do it. There's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with, you know, chatting with someone else and having a professional there to be able to communicate between the two of you, especially if you have gone a while without talking about serious stuff. Then having that someone there can make sure that you guys are talking without it exploding or blowing up too big, and they can help as a translator, because when you're in a relationship with someone, things can get taken the wrong way, and then, you know, you argue, and then you don't, and then you stop talking about it, which is one of the reasons people don't talk about it. So that's another thing, that, you know, work on the things that are causing the stress. Stop ignoring it. Whatever it is that you're stressed about and is holding you back from moving forward in life, stop ignoring it and do something about it. The third thing is, for me, is to breathe and to know myself. So breathing is a big thing for me. And it's something that I get pulled up on a lot from people, especially my psychologist, is to breathe. I'll just stop breathing, and it's a part of, I guess, being a victim of child sexual abuse, is that I can just stop breathing and be under a trigger attack when I don't even realize it. So breathing is really important. But then actually knowing myself, knowing that I'm going to be okay, knowing that I can get fit again, knowing that I can have a chat with my husband and that our relationship can be better and I'm not going to hate him forever. Knowing who you are and knowing how you're going to react to situations is really important. You may not have actually sat down and thought about it. Maybe you need to sit down and write it down in a diary, but you need to know how you react to things, what it is you like, and know what your core values are. Like I said, I've got my goals here. I go through these every day, right? Let me get it. You see that? And it's bright and colourful. But these are my core goals, and some of them are really physical. So, you know, I want to publish my book and I want to record an album. Some of them are actually just core values. So putting God first in my life, being joyful, inspiring and speaking for children. They're things that I want my actions in my life to be my core values. And those core values actually help me make decisions. They help me be decisive in what I'm going to do, what actions I'm going to take, what I'm going to spend my time on. Time is so important. I actually just deleted Candy Crush recently because I had this epiphany that even though I never spent $1 on Candy Crush, I spent a lot of time on there, just chilling out. But time is money, and time is that, you know, time I could be reading the word or spending time with God or exercising or something that could be reducing stress. So all that was doing was actually causing more stress. So maybe if I challenge you, if you've got a game that you're addicted to or you're spending a lot of time on, maybe whatever it is you're stressed about, get rid of that game, delete it from your phone for a while, and start working on, instead of playing that game, working on these things that are causing stress, and give it a go. So knowing myself, constantly doing self-development, so doing things like cancelling Candy Crush and trying something else, or doing something that's proactive, and self-development and self-searching. So knowing who I am, knowing what I like, knowing the things that I want to achieve and my core values, but also, like, you know, reading self-development books, Doesn't have to always be the Bible. There's so many things out there, and there's so many people out there with so much life experience that we can learn from on a daily basis. And most people in the world will tell you that reading books is really important and really good for you. So find something that's going to help you self-develop and become a better person or a better you. And the fourth one is be content. This is one of my favorite sayings, being content. You never have it all until you've learnt to love it all. Learn to love everything you have in your life. Learn to love the challenges you're going through because they're stretching you the most and making you grow the most. Learn to love the people that you do have in your life, the relationships that you do have in your life. Learn to love the way you look. Things that are causing you stress, work on it, and then make sure you remember all the grateful things that you have in your life. There is going to be so many things, and just start focusing on those positive, happy, grateful things that you're grateful for in your life, and be content with that. That's actually going to just change that mindset and get you into a positive attitude, and get you to actually start enjoying life right now without doing anything else. Just start thinking about it right now. Think about all the things that you're grateful for in your life. I'm so grateful for the fact that my husband and I are building a house and our plans just got approved today. I'm so grateful for the fact that I have 3 beautiful, healthy children and a loving husband. And I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of the Juice Plus company and involved in everything that's happening there. I'm so grateful for the team members that I have that I get to support and build a relationship with. That's just me. What about you? There must be something in life that you're really grateful for. Remind yourself of those and think on those and dwell on those. And the more you dwell on the positive stuff and the things you're grateful for and the things that make you happy, the less the other stuff that stresses you out will actually cause. So they are my 4 points. My observation, I guess, from the scripture that I was talking about earlier is that my arm's getting a bit sore, so I'm going to change directions. Is putting God first. But I guess the analogy that I actually put, and I will put it up for you to read, is it's kind of like if you're in a different country, right? And you've got someone that you know and you trust, then you ask them for directions to get to your destination, your holiday home, or whatever it is that you're trying to get to, and you don't know where you are or what you need to do. So you have to ask them for directions, but then you have to trust that they're telling you the truth and they've got your best interest in heart. Because if you ask someone you don't trust for directions to somewhere you want to go, would you actually follow it? Do you know if you would follow those instructions? Because you don't know if you trust the person. So you have to trust them. And then you've got to take the instructions. And then you've actually got to follow the directions they've given you to get to the destination. So I've put that down. Ask for directions. Trust that the person is giving you the directions properly. And then follow the directions until you reach the destination. So for me, that's a lot like why and what I do with God and with my relationship with God and putting Him first. By having a relationship with Him and reading His Word and testing things, like I said earlier, I'm trusting that I can ask Him for directions, and that He's actually got my best interests at heart. And He does. He has got plans to prosper all of us. And that's why I love Him so much, and I trust that He's got the best interest in heart for all of us. And so that's that. But then you actually have to follow them. So I think that's the key point is, you can ask for directions and you can trust someone, you can have a relationship with someone, but you can still sit in your ass chatting to them all day and you'll never get to where you're supposed to go. We actually all have a responsibility to move forward in our own lives and take action in our own lives, and the only person to blame for not getting to the destination is ourselves. I have to take action every day to reach and achieve the things that I want to achieve. And there might only be little tiny things, or I might get a lot done in a day, but either way, it's my responsibility. And if I decide to take a day's rest, then that's my responsibility. And so there's no one else I can blame for not achieving particular goals in a timely manner or whatever it is. It's all up to me. And the same goes for you. No one else is holding you back. If you think they are, you're just digging your head in the sand. Like I said before, I said don't do that. Take responsibility and start doing something proactive, and then that stress will just start to diminish, because all of a sudden you're not focused on all the things that aren't happening, you're focusing on the things that are happening. You start focusing on each step forward, and all of a sudden you're just looking at that direction of where you're going, and you stop looking at all the things around you because you're moving forward, and just move forward in that direction and you'll get where you're going. just don't let anything stop you, don't let anything distract you. Doesn't matter if there's a big sale on, just keep moving forward, you know, and you'll get to where you're going. And if you know, you're following someone that you really trust, like for me, I'm following the directions that I feel God's got for me, then you know that is what I really believe is going to get me to the best place that I want to be and my purpose in life. And I always figured, I guess for me, it was if I just constantly did things that I enjoyed and I was happy doing, that I would end up in a lifestyle that I enjoy. And that's all I do. I just every day make sure that I'm joyful in what I'm doing and that I continue to just move forward in those things. So I hope that's helped some of you. Either way, if it hasn't, this is it's just me, but no, I'm sure hopefully it has, and that if it has helped you, then please feel free to share it with someone. If you think you know someone who may be struggling with stress in their life, please share it. You know, like I said, I'm going to add it to my website as well, so that it's not just to my friends on Facebook, but you know, stress is one of those things that's just causing so much problems and mental health in the world. And I deal with it. You know, everyone has to deal with it. So don't feel alone. That's probably the biggest thing is I think people feel alone in stress. But don't feel alone because we're not. I'm alone on my balcony here, but, but I don't feel alone because I've got a couple of people watching this video. So pray. My prayer, sorry, from my soap, I'll finish off with this, was show me the directions in which you'd like me to take for my life. So that's just me, I guess, for me at the moment. I have some visions and I have some ideas of what I want, or what I feel God's asking for me to do. And, you know, I guess I want some clarity around what it is He's exactly wanting me to do and show me the direction that I'm supposed to be going in or where I should be focusing. And I ask that a lot. You don't have to ask just once. You can ask it every day if you want, until you really feel that clarity. And then, you know, yeah, see how you go. That's mine. I'm going to chime off. Thank you for those who watched the video, and I really appreciate all your support and love, and I hope you have a lovely night. Bye.